Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to talk about number lines and different ways that we could put numbers on the number lines. And when we talked about this in my homeroom and with my switch class, we talked about close your eyes, close them, and take yourself all the way back to Miller, all the way back. And when you were learning how to count at Miller, your teacher might have said something like this: boys and girls, today we're going to count numbers on the number line. These are whole numbers. My number line starts at 0. Count with me while I count these whole numbers on the number line. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very good, boys and girls. We just counted to 10 using whole numbers. Then we talked about how it's possible to take any part of this number line out, these whole numbers out, and stretch it, and they're still whole numbers. It's just a part of this larger 0 to 10 number line. So I chose 0 to 3. Count with me, boys and girls. Ready? 0, 1, 2, 3. Very good. And then I decided to take even a smaller portion of the smaller number line and use that as an example at the bottom. So within this number line, I stretched out this part from 0 to 3, and from 0 to 3, I stretched out this part, and it just goes from 0 to 1. Okay. The reason why I did that is to show you that there's a lot of numbers that we can put in between the whole numbers 0 and 1. There's a lot of things we can put in here. When you're in 3rd grade, counting isn't just about whole numbers. We can count by fractions on a number line. And we can divide our number line according to our fraction. So if I, for example, took the fraction 1/2 and asked you, is it possible to put 1/2 on this number line? What would you say? Yes, it is possible. Somewhere between 0 and 1 is the fraction 1/2. I'm going to divide my number line into the total number of parts, denominator. Total number of parts in my number line needs to be 2. So I'm going to do the best that I can, and I'm going to try to divide this as close to the half mark as I can. And then I'm going to label it because it's only 1/2. I'm going to make one jump, 1/2. Are there other fractions that I could put between 0 and 1? Can you think of an example? I bet you can. Are there other fractions I could put between this 0 and 1? Now remember, this is the same thing. Can I put 1/2 on this number line? I can. 1/2. Can I put 1/2 on this number line? One half. Can I put something other than halves on my number line? Think about that for a minute. What color have I not used yet? Let's do lime green. Can I put something other than halves? Can my denominator be something different and I can put it on this number line. What if I said, please put this on this number line? Could you do it? Take a look. My fraction is 3/4. Does 3/4 fit somewhere on this number line? Well, let's go back. The first thing I have to do, we're talking about fourths now, not halves. We're talking about fourths. So I would have to divide my number line into fourths. Can I still do that if I've already divided it into halves? Sure, but I'm going to use a different color so we don't get confused about halves and fourths. Now, this is something that my class and I talked about a lot. When you're dividing a number line into fourths, don't draw 4 lines. If you draw 4 lines, you will get 5 parts. So how many lines would I have to draw to divide my number line into fourths? If you answered 3, you are correct. 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines. But wait a minute. I put a line where the 1/2 already is. That's okay. Sometimes the lines will fall on the same spaces as another fraction. But this, if you can see, I have divided this number line into equal fourths. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. And I could label those fourths. The one that I asked you to look for is 3/4. So I'm going to count. You can count by fractions on a number line, just like you can count by whole numbers on a number line. So let's count together. Ready? 0, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. Ooh, we talked about this in the last math talk that I sent out. 4/4 is the same as saying 1/2. 4/4. 3/4 is the one I originally asked about. What about this middle part? This is 1/2, but it's also 2/4. Is 1/2 the same as saying 2/4? Well, here's 1/2. And please don't tell Mrs. Garbino what an art aficionado I am. 1/2, 2/4, they are equal. I would write that like this. 1/2 is equal to 2/4. 4/4 is equal to 1/2. Okay? And in our next lesson, we are going to talk about dividing those number lines up even further and how you can compare fractions while they're on a number line. And that is all for today. I hope you guys have a great day. Miss you so much. See you soon.